So Nathan Wade Willis. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. Yes, I did. I sat up all night thinking about that. Anyway, Nathan Wade went to Congress last week and testified to them about this whole Donald Trump conspiracy election interference trial that they tried to have down in Georgia. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it because we got a lot to dive into.
Let's bring in Andy McCarthy, former U.S. Assistant Attorney and a Fox News contributor. What have you been able to determine from what we've learned so far, Andy?
Well, Sandra, I can't think of a good reason for a state prosecutor to be meeting with political officials. I should point out that there's nothing at all unusual about prosecutors from the state or the federal government meeting with their counterparts, meeting with prosecutors from other jurisdictions. That sort of thing happens all the time. It famously happens in the context of turf battles between offices fighting for high-profile cases. But even when things are working as they're supposed to work, people could be cooperative with each other if they are in investigations that have mutual interest. And yet you kind of have to do that to investigate in an organized way. But you always want to avoid the appearance that politics is driving law enforcement decisions. And I just can't, for the life of me, imagine a good reason why a state prosecutor would meet with White House officials. You could totally understand the meeting with Justice Department officials to sort out the competing federal and state interests. But White House officials, that seems very peculiar. And it's
So to start off, you always remember the saying, follow the money. Now let's discuss like why this became an issue. Fani Willis, Nathan Wade, well, Fani Willis trying to prosecute Trump for whatever, different things, about 50, 11 things in Georgia, pretty much trying to get him arrested, put in prison, bottom line, to not be in the current presidential election. We all know it. We all see it. We got a lot of people out here who want to say that Donald Trump is a felon. He got 30 something felonies. And I told you guys that it's not what you think. First of all, many of y'all who's hollering about Donald Trump as a felon, you got felons in your family. Let's just be honest. And you still put money on their books, send money for the commissary. You still drive 6 hours or have somebody drive you down 6 hours when you know you should be in dialysis or you know your diabetes is not going to allow it. But you'll still go visit them, and they have done some heinous crimes. They're probably robbed, deleted, sold dope, whatever the case. They done some serious crimes that got them felonies. But yet, we talking about a guy who, like I told you, you can have one little incident. Let's say he met this stripper or whatever she is, and let's say he met her, slept with her, and then tried to pay her off so she wouldn't talk. The government found out about it. They prosecuted him. So they try to put charges on him like what do you call it? The Mann Act. Not saying that's what it was, but I'm just saying because he probably flew in from one state to another. Bribery because he paid her, and then it's like one. Then with that one check, you can say, oh well, he did it through his business, so that was illegal. Oh, he got his lawyer. Oh, he billed through his business, or he had his business paid for it. He had his lawyer go do it. You know, he filed taxes on it. So it's like 3 or 4 or 5 different counts, and they can all be felonies, but for one little act. But yet, your baby daddy and your son, or your daughters, they out there swanging, slanging, and banging, doing it their whole teenage and adult life. Probably done got a few bodies on them that sell that's in the bottom of the trendy. And so they was like hit with Ricos for real. And so now they in prison for life. And you got nothing to say about that except we're going to pray for them. Not sitting here trying to advocate for Donald Trump, not in the least. But what I'm saying is take the plank out your own eye. take the plank out your own eye. But anyway, they're in a relationship. Trump's lawyers find out about it. They went and interviewed people. Long story short, money is like being paid, money's missing, money's being found, no receipts for none of this money. So they're following the money. Now, Nathan Wade is testifying that he went to DC and this fool charged the Georgia taxpayers for him going to DC. Okay, so that's where your money part starts at right there.
Seems even more peculiar to me that meeting that he testified about, and not surprisingly, I guess, had amnesia about, happens to have happened on the very same day when Attorney General Garland appointed Jack Smith as special counsel to take over the federal election interference case.
You mentioned amnesia because there was multiple occasions in the transcript we've learned where he says, I do not remember. I'll get to that in just a moment. But as far as this.
Y'all see this? White woman got lashes. Man, I need to stay focused sometimes, but see, she got lashes, but they're not too extra. Like I say, I understand what lashes are used for because I, talk to women and they tell you that they put them in, they use eyelashes because they want their eyes to pop, right? Eyelashes are dangerous. Y'all know that if y'all get them cheap eyelashes, stuff like that, they've been known to cause blindness. Let's just say they call people to go blind, infections, formaldehyde, all kind of stuff. So be careful. It's always good to go to a reputable shop or business, something with a license, if you're going to get it done. Not your homegirl while y'all sitting there watching reruns of Maury Povich. Or y'all supposed to be at work and y'all go in the break room putting on lashes. That's not when you're supposed to do it. But anyway, all I'm saying is, see, and I talk to, like I say, sisters about lashes, and some of them wear lashes to where you can't really tell. You wouldn't know them unless you knew them that those lashes was fake. But like I said, I'm thinking that these lashes aren't real, but they are. She got some nice ones. That's some nice lashes. And it is what it is. But like I said, you don't want them to be just extra. Let me get back to Nathan Wade. God damn it.
The transcript that was released from Wade, which we know obviously happened because of a subpoena, he did say that Willis was preparing to prosecute.
And fellas, let's just be honest. I don't know what it is, but it's something about women's eyes that are attractive to us. Something about big eyes. We know what it is, and we know what we picturing in our head. So let's just be honest. But that's why we like the eyes to pop, because it's just anyway. If y'all know what I'm talking about, we're on the wrong channel.
Prosecute Trump even before she took office, and that she put Wade on a search committee to find a prosecutor, which ultimately chose him for the job, Andy. This was the portion of the transcript that happened because of a subpoena. He did say that Willis was preparing to prosecute Trump even before she took office, and that she put Wade on a search committee to find a prosecutor, which ultimately chose him for the job, Andy.
So, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but comments conspiracy theorists, but isn't it a coincidence that before she became the prosecutor, the FA, not the FA, the district attorney, my bad, she set out to find stuff on Donald Trump? Could it be that she could have been promised a job? I'm just speculating. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a judge. I ain't in politics and I ain't in law. But could it be possible? I'm just saying how it looks on the surface on our end, that she may have been like hired, or want to get to. She got elected, but we know there's a lot of speculations and questions about elections, if they're above the board or not. So I mean, hey, could it have been possible that that someone told her, hey, if you go after Trump, we'll see what we can do to get you to become the district attorney, and then you can just move forward and put this man in prison? Because not too many people want that case. Remember that there was a lawyer who's like a well-known Georgia lawyer, and I can remember they mentioned him on a video that I did before, and he said nobody wanted the case. Nobody wanted the case because there really wasn't anything you can substantially probably prosecute prosecute Trump on and his people. You have to like dig and find something. And if you don't find something, it could really hurt your career, especially if Donald Trump wins the election. And it's just certain people and certain things you just do not touch. But old Fani somehow was persuaded into going after Donald Trump, and then she becomes the district attorney. Just something to think about.
This was the portion of the transcript that was very revealing about what you just mentioned. When presented with invoices for billing White House meetings, Wade said he could not recall. So question one, turning back to invoice number 8, we're working off the line that says travel to Athens, conference with White House counsel. Do you remember meeting with the White House counsel in May of 2022? I don't, said Wade. Do you have any recollection of meeting with anyone from the White House counsel's office? I don't.
So if you're billing somebody $250 an hour, I told y'all that I'm like, I guess a certified license, whatever you want to call it, notary to do loan refis on people's houses down here in the state of Texas. You know, you charge the title company anywhere from $50 to, well, they tell you how much they're gonna pay you, but you can pay anywhere from $50 up to $200, depends on who you're dealing with, what kind of relationship you got with them, and the documents that you notarize them. I cannot recall every notary I did. I cannot recall every house I've been to. I could tell you some of the title companies I went to. I couldn't tell you right off exactly where the address was, but you know, one thing I can do, I can pull it up. I can go and find records of each transaction, whether it be checks. We can start with the money, the checks that I deposited in my account. Start there, see where they originated from, find a title company. You can go to the title company. It's just if I didn't have my document, but like I say, I got stuff in files. At the notary book, tell you exactly where I went and when and everything. It's in a book. I'm just saying it's on record. But like I said, you file the money, just to say if I didn't have my notary book, right? Or if I said, I don't know where my notary book is. Okay, now you lost the document. That could be another legal issue. But let's say if I didn't have it, shoot, look at the checks. Who signed the checks? Who issued the checks? And then you start there, and I promise you, eventually they will find out exactly what house I went to, what time of day, who the people were, and what the documents detail. And we're talking about small, independent contractor like myself going to people's house to do a job. Let's say I'm charging $90 for the job, and it takes me 3 hours to do the whole job. That's from getting the documents, printing them out, looking them over, going to the person's house, having them sign it, double checking it, putting the envelope, sealing it, then taking it to FedEx and dropping it off 3 hours, give or take. So you're talking $30 an hour. This dude, who was a lawyer, passed the board exam. And I'm quite sure they tell them, just like they told me when I did my notary exam, when you get your notary book, all your instructions, they tell you when you're in nursing school and when you get a job as a nurse and you go through orientation, they tell you document, document, document. If you didn't document, then it didn't happen. Because when the state board comes knocking on the door and they got questions, if it ain't documented, but you say you did something, but it's not documented anywhere, it didn't happen. And so now you are deep boo-boo. But how in the world you make $250 an hour and you don't have, now it's easy for me to, now you know what? Let's just be slick as a can of oil, right? So I'm gonna ask you, Marlon, do you remember on May 23rd, 2022, do you recall doing a notary at, I don't know, the guy in across the street? You meeting with a guy across the street on May 20th? No, I don't recall. Because you know what? I don't know what date it was. I don't know if it was May 23rd, May 21st. Don't know if it's 2022. Don't know if it's 2023. Don't know if it's 2021. I don't recall. You know what I'm saying? This on me notice. I don't recall. So you just say I don't. But if they come and show him the documented proof, and they said line conference White House counsel. Do you remember meeting with the White House counsel in May of 2022? No, I don't remember meeting him in May 2022. It could have been. I'm not sure. He said, I don't. Okay, well, then you say, hey, in May 23rd, 2022, says here you met at the White House. Do you recall this meeting? Don't care if you think it happened in June, July, September. Do you recall this meeting? Now, if he said, I don't recall it, that son gun's lying. I'm sorry. I'm lying. He perjured himself. So he's trying to be slick, just like he did when he was in that last deposition where he told on himself about going to them cabins, and finally Willis got mad because she know that she never been to a cabin, and he said he never took her to a cabin. So she came out there. She was pissed, came out there with that backwards dress and talked about his third leg not working correctly because he got some kind of cancer or something like that. Y'all remember that? Man, look that up. So it's nothing new with him to not recall anything. Man, this dude's a fraud.
How could he have so easily forgotten something so important just 2 years ago?
But we talk about the White House. So again, if you making $250 an hour, you're gonna document that. It's gotta be documented. You can't go back to your boss and you're a lawyer who's a DA and say, hey, I need y'all to bill me. I mean, I'm billing y'all for these hours. Y'all pay me for these billable hours. And they say, okay, fine. You can't say nobody's gonna approve that check if you can't say, what did you go to the White House for? What did y'all talk about? What was the meeting about? Tell me exactly what happened. Where were you at this time? I need you to document your hours of where you were at up until 6 minutes in 6-minute increments. Nobody's going to sign off on that unless it's your woman. If it's your woman that you working for and y'all splitting these proceeds, she just might do it. She just might sign off on it, thinking, hey, I got the federal government's back, so we'll be okay. But oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive.
I'm not sure that he's forgotten so much as he doesn't want to remember. You know, there's a reason why the judge in Georgia, Judge McAfee, when he disqualified Wade, I think he should also have disqualified Fani Willis, but that's a different story. But there's a reason why the judge concluded that their testimony left an odor of mendacity in the courtroom. And
because he knew there was lies there. Hell, he was probably even part of it. But he knew that they were not being truthful because it was just too many links. They weren't adding up yet, but let's just say there were too many pieces of the same puzzle laying on the table, but there were just a few pieces that just wasn't connected because someone was missing. But you still saw the bigger picture.
I think he kind of may have brought that odor of mendacity with him to Jim Jordan's hearing room for his deposition. The explanation or the failure to recall doesn't make any sense. And look, any prosecutor who's handled a high-profile case where you have to meet with top-level federal officials, particularly if it's a peculiar meeting with political officials, if I was in a meeting like that, I could virtually give you a transcript of what happened in it. So
I'm not sure how Nathan Wade still has a license, if he does. Because how is it that you just can't remember anything? That's the whole basis of your job. You have to be able to recall, be able to look at evidence and recall it, especially at the spot of a dime, because someone may say something on the stand or anywhere about your case, and they may say something that's going to trigger your mind to where, like, wait a minute, you said this, but back then, this is what you said. But wait a minute, I recall seeing this. I recall hearing this from somebody else about that same day. Let me take a quick note and I'm going to come back to it. This man, Nathan Wade, dude acts like he needs Ginkgo every morning because for some reason his mind is just shot to hell.
the idea that he can't recall after sitting there for 8 hours, that's peculiar.
He also said this, though, in that transcript, it's revealed, Andy, about pressure to file charges against Donald Trump. He was asked, and did anyone in the White House direct you or, to your knowledge, anyone else at the Fulton County District Attorney's Office to file charges against Donald Trump? Wade responded, no, ma'am. Also, another bit of information coming from all of this is that Nathan Wade apparently—
It's funny he knew that, though. It's funny he had a direct no ma'am on that.
Admitted that he needed this special training, RICO training, Racketeer Influenced and Corruption Organization Act training. I believe it is the
It's Rico, woman. White woman can't say Rico. Amazing. Just like they can't say Kamala and Kamala. But anyway, Rico training. That's another thing. Fali Willis tried to testify for her man, saying that he had the experience and knowledge and she had faith that he could do the job. But this here says that Nathan Wade himself said he had to get some RICO training. I'm gonna go to, while y'all look at that, go to Daily Mail. No, not Daily Mail. Forget that. New York Post website, and it says ousted Trump prosecutor Nathan Wade had to go to quote unquote RICO school before leading racketeering case against ex-president. Let's see. Former Donald Trump prosecutor Nathan Wade admitted to lawmakers last week that he had to take a class on racketeering law before he signed on to lead Georgia election fraud case against the former president. Your first RICO trial is against the former president and perhaps future president of the United States of America, of the leader of the free world, the man who for 4 years controlled everything U.S. and probably in the next couple of months will be controlling everything in the U.S. again. Your first trial, your first RICO trial is going to be against this guy, not against the drug dealers in Georgia, not against your pimps in Georgia, not against your blue collar, not blue collar, white collar, cyber criminals, or those who stealing money from the Atlanta Falcons, people working for Atlanta, whatever, or Atlanta Hawks. That's not your first RICO trial. Your first, is that Kamala? I mean, is that Candace Owens in the back? Never mind. I see something you don't see. Anyway, your first trial is going to be against Donald Trump, the former president, and they let y'all get away with this. Wade, who was forced off the case in March because of an affair with his boss, Fulton County District Attorney Fali Willis, said under questioning from the House Judiciary Committee on October 15th that he'd never worked in the DA's office before and had never worked on a racketeering case, according to a transcript made public Monday, the day I went and voted early. Make sure you go out and vote. Still got time for early voting. Texas has started this past Monday. I went Monday morning. The line was long, but I did my civic duty. Matter of fact, a couple hours ago, I went into town to go to the store, drove by that same polling place, and the line was shorter. It was still outside a little bit, but it wasn't around the sidewalk like it was on Monday morning. So the lines are going to get shorter. First day, everybody thought I was going to show up the first day. But anyway, so go out and vote. Do your civic duty. Do what's right. Let's see. Say it on the question 58. Oh yeah, Monday. I went to what I would call quote. I went to what I would call RICO school to learn about what it is, what it means, and how it works. Wade said during the deposition. Let me go back right quick. He never worked in a DA's office before and had never worked on a racketeering case, according to a transcript. So which means y'all can look this up. It's public record. Wade said in deposition, it is a very complicated legal concept, but the dubbed godfather of RICO, the gentleman who wrote the book, spent hours and hours teaching me RICO, if you will. I wonder if he billed the state of Georgia for that. Now, you got people go to school for months, to get years, to get certified, but you learn RICO in a few hours. He was teaching a RICO course, and I went to the course, Wade explained further. The federal RICO, or racketeer influence and corrupt organizations Act was put in place in 1970 and later adopted by certain states like Georgia for the purpose of prosecuting organized crime. Now, y'all might say, hey, he said that the guy was teaching a RICO course and he went to the course. Anybody who's really trying to make an impression wouldn't have said, hey, I took classes he taught me for hours and hours on how to do I don't know, gallbladder surgery. You wouldn't say nothing like that. What you would say is, hey, I went to class and got a certification. You know what I'm saying? It took months of training. Even if you're in school for just 2 hours a day, it took 3-4 months of training before I could learn how to properly do a gallbladder surgery. That's what you would say, not hours and hours. And he taught me, and I learned RICO in a matter of hours. That does not look good on your resume. Trump and the 14 co-defendants are slated to face trial for allegedly carrying out a criminal enterprise that plotted to overturn the 2020 Georgia presidential election result after Joe Biden became just the second Democrat in 40 years to win the state. When Wade was asked if he did anything else to prepare for his new position apart from taking a RICO course, he responded, I don't know that there's anything greater than sitting at the foot of the person who had written the book on the legal concept. That didn't answer the question. Willis, 52, has been accused by Trump and his co-defendants of misconduct in appointing Wade to the case despite both his lack of experience and the conflict of interest caused by their romance. The two lawyers claim they didn't start dating until after Willis appointed Wade to the lucrative and high-profile post. But the judge overseeing the criminal case against the Republican presidential nominee said Willis could only remain on the case if Wade stepped down, which he did in March. And like Fali Wilson's old best friend, whatever, testified that Wade been around for a grip. Wade just come to the house and spend the night. They ain't just started when she got that job. It was way before then. Wade also dodged answering many questions last week by claiming he didn't remember basic details about his work. At least 58 times in his testimony, 58, damn. Wade said he could not recall or did not know key details of documented interaction with Biden White House officials and members of the House Select Committee investigating the January 6, 2021 Capitol riot. But the special prosecutor Bill Willis and his $250 per hour fee for a meeting with a member of the White House counsel's office on May 2022, per an invoice obtained by the Judiciary Panel. If there was a conference with the White House counsel, it would have occurred on or before May 23rd, 2022. Wade was asked at one point, which he replied, yes. Do you remember who your contact was at the White House counsel's office? A Judiciary Committee staffer asked. I do not, Wade replied. That's a lie. Do you remember who attended this conference with White House counsel? The staffer quizzed. I do not recall. Is it safe to assume, since you billed the conference with the White House counsel, that you attended this conference with the White House counsel? The staff member also asked. Yes, Wade confirmed. Oh my God. In November 2022, Wade also had an interview with someone from the White House, though it's unclear whether either that meeting or the one from May were in person. I'm sorry. You can't take a trip to the White House and meet with the most important people in the world, or some of the most important people in the world, and not recall anything. It says, to your knowledge, did District Attorney Willis ever meet or communicate with individuals associated with the Biden White House? A judiciary staff member queried toward the end of the deposition. I have no clue what she did. That cat is slicker than, like I said, he's slicker than a can of oil. Now, remember, Wade before said he don't remember going to the White House. That was in that Georgia deposition. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? Oh, he said they didn't go at the same. Him and Fonnie didn't go at the same time. I think that's what he said. Some retract. I think that's what he said. But yeah. So Wade was a lead lawyer who managed a team of prosecutors and investigators as the evidence was evaluated and the indictment drafted, Evans said in a statement. One of those prosecutors was John Floyd, who was one of the top RICO experts in the United States. Floyd was retained as a special assistant district attorney to review the RICO evidence and charges in the investigation. Despite Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan's attempt to use a quote out of context to score political points, the evidence uncovered by the investigation and the resulting indictment speak for themselves. Nah, what speaks for themselves is that y'all are fraud and foolish and did something you had no business. And now you're just getting caught. But let's finish this up.
What it is called, Andy, to lead this Georgia case against Trump. What does all of this reveal to you, Andy?
Well, I think it underscores that he had no business being on a complex criminal case. I did RICO cases for a number of years as a federal prosecutor. It's a very complicated statute. In some ways, it was a very innovative statute when Congress enacted it in 1971. Georgia is prosecuting Trump under its analog for it. But I think the fair inference from this, Sandra, is that he wasn't brought in because he was the senior experienced hand who could, sort of calm things in a very high-profile, intensive prosecution. He was brought in because he was Fani Willis's boyfriend. And the fair inference for all of this is that some of the allegations that have been made by defense counsel about self-dealing and potential financial fraud and perjury are very colorable.
Andy, a lot to be learned there. Thank you very much. Always appreciate when you can join us.
Thanks, Sandra.
So this has got to be one of the biggest in your face, can't deny it, forms of election interference that I've ever seen in my life. I don't really know about election interference. You hear about it over time and you just let it, roll off like water on a duck's back because got nothing to do with us. But this one here does, because it shows that this so-called Party for the People, Democratic Party, you are no better than the Republican Party. You will stoop to whatever lows that you can go to. Remember, they go low, we stay high. I'm sorry, Michelle, but the Democrats are making you out to a lie, making you look like a liar. They will stoop to whatever they need to do to make sure that they keep Donald Trump out of office. People vote for a number of reasons. Identity politics, whether they are black, for us, Obama. Excuse me. They would even vote Kamala Harris. Hell, they'd even put Michelle Obama in if she was running. Because they're a woman, Kamala Harris. They'll vote just because they're Democrat, and they've all, their family always been a Democrat, always been a Republican, so that's what they're gonna stick with, down ballot, from national to the local, all the way to the local. They vote on policies, right? They vote on policies that this candidate, which is what you're supposed to vote on, whether you like the candidate or not. This candidate is aligned more with me, 55, maybe 51%. This candidate is aligned 48%. So I got to go to 51% or 49%. So I got to go with the 51%, right? Then you have people who vote. They watch the news. They entertainers, friends tell them who to vote for. There are different reasons why people vote. And it comes down, the differences can come down to 2 or 3%. Another reason people will vote is out of spite. Like your boy Barack Obama comes out and tells black men that he's ashamed, they ought to be ashamed of themselves for not wanting to vote for Kamala Harris just because she's a woman. When no brother I know said that they would not vote for her because she's a woman. Most of us say they'll vote for Trump because we've seen the Democrats over the last 4 years, and she's only going to be a continuation of that. No matter how she lies, and we can say she lies because she has flip-flopped on certain things within the last few weeks One minute she's Indian, the next minute she ain't gonna tell you what she is, and then another minute she's black. One minute she's for gun control, another minute she ain't gonna take your guns. One minute she's against fracking, the next minute she's all for fracking. One minute she want to secure the border at all costs, the next minute she's opening the border, and then want to blame somebody else because the border is open. You can't trust them. So yeah, we'll vote out of spite. And then two, the second example of being voting out of spite is we see what you're doing trying to railroad somebody. And people are like, oh, that ain't right. Is that what we doing? Okay, I'm going to show you. I got you. Matter of fact, I was going to vote for you, but now since you did this and seeing how dirty y'all are and down low y'all, because we can see that y'all will, if somebody, see, y'all sit here and talk about that if Trump becomes president, what he's going to do is go after y'all, the people that he don't like, and do whatever. I guess take them to the gallows or hang them by their toenails or give them like a bunch of what they call it, Chinese paper cuts or whatever, and let them bleed to death. I don't know what the heck y'all think he gonna do, but whatever he didn't do last 4 years, you think he gonna do this next 4 years? I don't know. Y'all sit there and say that he's a dictator and we can't put him in office, but there's no such thing as a dictator in the United States because the law was not allow a dictator to rule. Because if he thought he was going to stay in there, he would have stayed. If he thought he can be a dictator, you got constitutional laws and rules and regulations that where you can just kick him up out of there. So no, that's not gonna fly. But y'all put all that fear mongering out there for us to, to shaking our boots, but y'all doing the same thing. Y'all are actually doing what y'all say he will do. Y'all are doing it. And so who can trust you? So it's like, if I can't trust you, I can't be with you. So I'm either going to vote the other way or I'm going to vote for the couch or find some independent candidate to vote for. I don't know, but I'm going to make sure that I don't vote for you because y'all are devious. Y'all are deviants. You told two Christian boys that they was in the wrong rally when they told you Jesus is Lord and God is Christ and Jesus Christ and God and Jesus is Lord. And you heard people in the audience laughing at them. You hear people, some people clapping and stuff like that. And then she said what she said and everybody cheered for her. And then they put these young dudes out. But y'all want to say how bad Donald Trump is. You should have took Michelle Obama's advice. And when they go low, when he goes low, you go higher and you continue to be higher. And you don't sit there and denounce pretty much Christianity in front of the world, but want to say this man is evil and this man is Satan. I don't get it. Saw a video where some lady was mad at her neighbor because she had a Trump sign in her yard. I said, you voting for the devil? And she cussed this woman out in the name of Jesus. Cussed this woman out because she was voting for Donald Trump. That's not how you flies with honey. No, really, you attract flies with crap, with poop. You attract bees with honey. But flies go all in and poop every day, all day, every day. But anywho, let me see. I was going to look at this dailymail.com. It said, well, finally, Willis's lover, Nathan Wade Stanley, admitted to Congress about Trump's prosecution. But I don't want to get too far into it because it's a nice long article. I might hit it up on another day. What's this say? But I'm going to see a couple of things. According to the transcript of his closed-door deposition before the House Judiciary Committee last week, reviewed first by dailymail.com, Wade said he was on her search committee to find prosecutors to go after Trump. And he sensationally admitted the committee was set up well before Willis took the DA office on January 1st, 2021, revealing she had a long planned plot to take down Trump. So you was already plotting. The two used to speak daily, disclosed Wade as she considered candidates for the top role, which she eventually gave him despite their ongoing affair. Wait a minute, you sure they were going together at the time? I don't know. Wade was still married to his now ex-wife for 26 years, Joycelyn, until the divorce finalized in July. So it was asked to try to identify someone who would serve as lead counsel in election interference investigation. Eventually, I guess the committee turned their guns on me and started trying to convince me to accept the role. Wade said he confirmed that the outreach occurred after the 2020 election, prior to Willis taking office as a district attorney. Also, it was after the election. So it wasn't that she wasn't already voted in. She was already voted in. She just hadn't got took office. Okay. It say Willis has secured the indictment in 18 of his GOP allies in August 2023 that the former president has blasted as a hoax and a scam, which it is, still is. That's why I've been pushed back. And if Trump wins, it's going to hell. I think if he don't win, it's going to go away. They tried their best to keep him out of the presidency. It said been on hold. The case has been on hold since June, while the Georgia Appeals Court considers whether Willis should be disqualified over alleged misconduct tied to her romantic relationship with Wade, who stepped down in March due to the scandals. Oh, if they look at these transcripts, well, they probably have. Yeah, they're gonna make her step down. He said Wade also admitted that he met with several officials in the Biden-Harris White House on at least two occasions. But he did not elaborate on those meetings, skirting direct questions about the nature of the visits with official White House staff, including individuals in the White House counsel's office. Wade also confirmed that he had meetings with the January 6th Congressional Committee, but he did not provide detail. Why would he meet with them? That's because I believe they was getting ready to plot to try to take Trump down, which is election interference, which is what they shouldn't have done. He shouldn't have been to the White House talking about a state case. A committee spokesperson said he managed to get out of answering their questions by saying he couldn't recall or remember nearly 60 times during the closed door session. 60 times. He also admitted he had no qualifications for the special prosecutor position that Willis appointed to. After finally said he was very qualified. Qualified knocking you down. That's what he's qualified for. And he spurred questions about the personal nature of his relationship with Willis. Committee lawyers asked Wade if he was ever concerned that if his relationship became public, it would cause an issue with the case. So now I'm getting confused because I didn't think that I was coming here to answer questions about my personal life. He fired back. Right. It said Donald Trump has claimed Willis is attempting to interfere with the 2024 vote after he pleaded not guilty to racketeering and other charges for allegedly attempting to overthrow the 2020 election in swing states. So you got a man who got no skills, no experience doing RICO trials. This is your boyfriend. He's charging the White House he's charging Georgia $250 to go to the White House for $250 an hour to go to the White House and meet with White House personnel and committees. That money is quite possibly, it's coming back to Fali some way, shape, or form. There are no receipts. Everything is cash. Let them tell it. But y'all think that's above board. I don't want to hear them. Well, the white folk do it all the time. They do show me. And if they do it all the time, which I believe it, I really do believe it. But my point is, so now that you know about it, what you gonna do about it? That's always the way you should be thinking. So you direct it or you bring it to people like that, the majority of them are just gonna walk away, turn it back and ignore it. But some people would take it as a challenge. Those are the people I want to deal with. Those are people I like to work with because you got people say, "Oh, you calling me out? You said I ain't gonna do nothing. I'm finna do something. I'm gonna go back to school and get a law degree, or I'm gonna send my kid. I'm gonna teach my kids and try to influence my kids to get in law enforcement and get law degrees because stuff like this should not, if white folk doing it all the time, but they shouldn't be doing it all the time. So I'm gonna make sure my son and daughter go get an education to where they can stop people from doing it." What's it say? Early this month, Republicans tried to serve a subpoena to Wade, but they had no idea where he was. He said in the transcript that he had turned his phone off in order to take a few days to take care of his ankle after a sprain and also prep for a mediation and arbitration he had coming up. Willis has said her fling with Wade was a thing of the past, but police body cam footage showed them together when Willis's daughter, Kenaya, was arrested on August 24th, 2024. And when you look at their clothes, it looked like they some casual clothes, like they was kicking it, hanging probably at the barbecue or at home. She's probably at home making him a sandwich. The pair looked remarkably like a couple over the summer. Looked like a couple a few over the summer in police body cam footage. That didn't make sense. obtained exclusively by dailymail.com, filmed together at the scene of her pregnant daughter's arrest for allegedly driving with a suspended license. The footage shows them arriving in the black Ford. Yeah, we already did a video on that one. Daughter was released that day. Relationship first surfaced in January. So on, so on, so on. Anyway, article ain't that long. It's almost done. In a letter to the committee sent a few weeks ago, Barnes claimed that Willis had objected to Wade's providing the documents. Well, let's back up then. It says Barnes, who is also an attorney, is representing Willis in an upcoming case, which the DA has branded as a bid by the House Republican to obstruct a Georgia criminal proceeding and to advance outrageous misrepresentations. Word of her relationship with Wade first surfaced in January, leading to the litany of requests for documents related to his work on the ongoing Trump prosecution. In a letter to the committee sent a few weeks ago, Barnes claimed that Willis had objected to Wade providing the documents, branding the demands improper. Barnes had also asked the DA office to have a representative present at Wade's interview so Willis could protect sensitive and confidential information related to ongoing criminal cases. And y'all remember he had that interview on, was it CNN? Where he was talking and answering questions, still playing dumb. And then there was a guy over there that kind of stopped him from answering a question. They went to the side. They conferred about, I guess, what Wade needs to say. And then he sat back down and continued the interview. I'm just saying, got somebody with him just to make sure he don't say nothing out of line. It says any interview of Mr. Wade could implicate secret grand jury information, confidential investigative sources, and information protected by attorney-client work produce and deliberative process privileges, among others. Barnes wrote. The congressional probe, meanwhile, continues as some continue to criticize as an effort by Trump's allies to undermine Willis's prosecution of the politician. Her case took a hit earlier this month when Georgia judges dismissed 2 criminal counts in the election interference case, one other count against co-defendants who have also pled not guilty. Fulton County Judge Scott McAfee found the state prosecutor did not have the authority to bring those charges, which related to the alleged filing of false documents in federal court. The ruling meant that 5 of the original 13 criminal counts against Trump in the indictment obtained last year have now been tossed. McAfee and March dismissed 6 other counts, including 3 against Trump. Trump lawyer Steve Sadow in a statement said the recent ruling showed that Trump and his legal team have prevailed once again. So, bottom line, more and more is going to come out. Fani Willis, I do believe that Nathan Wade is going to throw Fani Willis under the bus. He ain't going to take that L. Man ain't going to do no Fed time for you. I'm sorry. And so I think it'll be best if Fani Willis go ahead and step down. I know the election is coming up here. She's probably getting some votes right now. But I would say this. Would it be more embarrassing to just step down now, say you want to, say you're not going to run? Well, it's kind of late. Nah, hell, it ain't never too late. You can do what you want to when you feel like it, right? So would it be wrong if she just stepped down, say I'm going to step away from this office, take time off with my family, figure out my future? Or get into office. All these charges come up. Trump gets in the office. He goes after you, find things to prosecute you on, and make you step down then, or put you in jail. I think the best thing she should do is just go ahead and just recuse herself from this Donald Trump case, let it die like it need to, and move on. Because all these charges are going to be dismissed. And all them charges in New York are going to be dismissed. Bottom line. But anyway, tell me what you think about this story. Leave your comments below. Share it with the world. Let's have an intelligent conversation. You know how we do around here. I thank y'all for watching. But don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Those 4 things cost you nothing but maybe a couple of minutes out your day, but it means the world to me. If you would like to support financially, you can give super thanks, super chats, or click in the description box below. There are links you can click on there to help support us. Don't forget to go to marlonmorale.com. You can go to marlonmorale.com, get 10% off your first purchase. We got colognes, beard kits, silks, handbags, purses, just the works. You will not be disappointed in anything you get. Or you can click on the shop button below. Hit that shop button. We're right now running a sale only on the shop button to where on beard kits, little mini beard kits that's normally like $25. I got it like at a fraction of that cost. And it comes with a beard oil, beard oil, beard wash, and a beard balm. Sandalwood fragrance, which is clinically proven to help stimulate hair follicle growth. So for those young gentlemen that's trying to start that beard hair, you can even use it, sniff it, and put it in your hair probably. But for those young brothers who's trying to get that beard either started or to get it fuller, go ahead and, like I say, purchase hit the shop button, get you a mini beard kit. Or you can get the big beard kit, and it has a few more items, especially like that derma roller. Now that derma roller opens up them pores and helps that hair grow too. But hey, hit the shop button. You know what? I might put that big beard kit on sale too. Yeah, hit the shop button. Got my beard products, beard kits. They're gonna both be on sale. But anyway, with that being said, I'll leave you in peace, and I'll see you on the other side.